Jay-Z's alleged son Remier finally wins, but Beyonce draws a lineage, a name that echoes through generations. The mogul behind ROC Nation, the partner to Beyonce, a father, a symbol of evolution from the Marcy projects to billion-dollar boardrooms. But for one man, Jay-Z is more than a cultural icon. He's the missing piece of an identity puzzle that's remained unsolved for decades. That man is Remier, and after years of silence, frustration, and legal roadblocks, his voice is finally being heard. This isn't just another gossip headline. This is a multi-decade fight for recognition. And now, Remier has won a crucial legal victory, one that could crack the foundations of hip-hop royalty. To understand how we got here, we need to revisit the beginning. It was the early 1990s in Philadelphia. A young woman named Wanda claimed to have had a brief relationship with Sean Carter. Months later, she gave birth to a son, Remier. She alleged that Carter was the father. But before the case could gain momentum, Jay-Z's name had already begun rising. From underground mixtapes to mainstream domination, Sean Carter was becoming J-Z. Meanwhile, Wanda was filing petitions, requesting DNA confirmation. But the process was anything but smooth. The records were sealed, documents lost. No test was ever taken. For Remier, childhood was a blur of unanswered questions. He saw Jay-Z on magazine covers, on award stages, building empires with Beyonce. But he saw something else too. A possible connection. A face in the mirror. An unfinished story. As he grew older, he decided to take matters into his own hands. He filed independently, citing mishandled documentation and alleging that years of delay were preventing justice. Legal experts chimed in, acknowledged that improper service may have allowed Jay-Z's legal team to sidestep the case. The emotional damage was done. Remier wasn't asking for money. He wasn't selling a tello. He was asking for truth. And finally, in 2025, a judge gave him that chance. His case was reopened. The ruling didn't prove paternity, but it allowed evidence to be heard, and that alone was a breakthrough. Then came the ripple effects. Sources close to the situation began whispering about Beyonce's reaction. Allegedly, she was furious not at the ruling itself, but at the invasion of privacy it triggered. Her children, Blue Ivy, Sir, and Rumi, were being drawn into headlines through no fault of their own. According to social media leaks, Beyonce implemented a quiet blockade. No engagement, no comment, no contact with Remier. She wanted to shield her family and her brand from the storm. Some called it maternal instinct. Others labeled it media control. But regardless of where you stand, the tension was undeniable. Beyonce, known for silence and precision, was clearly taking a defensive stance, and the internet reacted. Fan bases split. Some stood firmly with Remier, applauding his persistence and courage. Others defended the Carters, questioning the timing, the motives, and the publicity. Content creators dove into timelines. TikTokers dissected interviews. Threads unraveled across Reddit, offering theories, speculation, and emotional takes. But one voice stood out: Remier's. He began posting online. Videos, messages, emotional testimony, sometimes vague, sometimes direct, but always pulsing with vulnerability. He spoke of betrayal, of pressure, even of threats. He claimed powerful forces were working to silence him. He said this wasn't just a legal battle, it was personal. Jay-Z said nothing. Beyonce said nothing. But the silence only made the story louder. This entire saga asks a question we rarely confront. Who controls legacy? Is it built through blood, through branding, through silence? Jay-Z's legacy is deliberate. He built it brick by brick. From his lyrics to his ventures, everything is calculated. But when the past shows up uninvited, especially one with potential, familial ties, what happens to that control? Remier doesn't want a brand. He wants answers. And after years of legal fog, he's finally pulling back the curtain. For Beyonce, the stakes are different. As mother, artist, and brand visionary, her instinct may be to protect her children, her image, her empire, but in doing so, she also creates distance. walls. Silence that fans interpret in dozens of different ways. The public watches with curiosity and emotion. What happens if Remier is proven right? Will there be financial consequences? Will Jay-Z step forward? Will there be acknowledgement? ... Or more silence? And what does all this mean for the Carter children? Do they grow up with whispers about a brother they've never met? Do they inherit a legacy that's unresolved? These are not easy questions, and they're not just legal ones. They're emotional, they're generational, they're deeply human. Celebrity culture thrives on perfection, on illusion. But stories like this strip away the polish. They reveal the cracks. And in those cracks, we see real people, vulnerable, imperfect, searching. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain: Remier is no longer in the shadows. He's changed the narrative. Whether he finds legal validation or personal peace, force the world to reckon with the truth that fame often hides. Identity matters. Stories matter, and silence. Silence is never neutral. Jay-Z remains quiet. Beyonce holds the line. But Remier is speaking, and this time the world is listening.